like, oh, thank you, Carrie. And tip over into what I want to be careful, right? We get in trouble when we start calling it negative. It is called the negativity bias, but we will say only seen through the eyes of pain, only seen through the eyes of fear. How about that? And we recognize its limitation. And the practice, and then says Brother David, the training, he's already speaking to that, because gratitude is a training. Expanded view, open, whole path is a training. It is not your fault. You didn't get it wrong. It just means that was a family, a culture, um, generations that went, that's bad, and so we take care of that. My husband's an engineer, and so he's looking for the crack in the bridge in everything. Now, this is not a bad thing, right? And in fact, he's going to see that crack before anybody else. And there's some strong positives for safety, his desire for belonging and maintaining community are in there, as well as the sky is falling, the sky is falling, which might be a habit that comes from that view. And we don't diminish it. We don't try to say it's bad or wrong. We don't say you're deficient in any way. We say, can we also, yes, true, good to check, good to know, good to examine in a way. Maybe I don't check the oil in the car before we drive 100 miles. My husband does. Right. These are really lovely contributions. And the good. We're going somewhere to see my mother because we care for her tomorrow. Right, we want to hold this both. And the Buddha called that limitless view. Limitless. Once we open the door to that, we can open to including everything, both the challenges, the difficulties, the unfamiliar, the not known. This week we're going to try to practice with the something I'm going to just for now call the invisible, the goodness that's here that we don't just see here, that's exactly existing and participating in our well-being, but not something we can spot, which means we're going to have to call it up from the well of goodness that we know, right? I've got this food. I didn't see the guy who grew it. I didn't see the trucker who drove it. I didn't see the packer. I didn't see the bagger. I didn't see the grocery guy. And yet there is a knowing. It's a different kind of gratitude, they say. And it actually has a capacity to grow certain muscle in us besides that which we are just seeing. But for week one, we're going to stay right just with using eye ear door. Oh, this, and then oh, this. But I want us to get ready for starting to include, maybe even when we can remember, as we're doing our 15 to 30 seconds of breathing in the good, recollecting, feeling appreciation and gratitude. Maybe we could even invite what is that which cannot this moment be seen or heard, but can be felt. It pulls from a different well, says the research. Can everybody sense that? Different, different possibility. Maybe I will parallel it to Piaget's developmental model. And so Piaget says, and you all know this if you have grandbabies, Piaget says for an infant, you only know what you see, you only know what you hear, you only know what you taste. And then when it's not there, it's like gone. And so you see babies play peekaboo. And really, the truth is in Piaget's model, when you're behind that airline seat where I typically play peekaboo with kids because I don't have grandchildren, you're gone. This is not just, it's like you disappeared and then you came back, and then you disappeared and then you came back. And it's actually quite fun. But can you imagine what that would be like for us in terms of goodness? uh-oh, that it's gone, and I don't know when it's coming back. And then, oh, there it is. But we don't feel secured by that, do we? We feel anxious by that reality. And we're all working in a developmental model, says the Buddha, ourselves. And so when the goodness isn't there, or when we're just hurting and can't remember that there's a whole part of the body not hurting, and we can't turn the mind towards that, we're just like that infant who is now lost with the view of the tiger in their eyes. And so, could we remember this then, says the teachings, it goes further, when anyone is screaming, when anyone is yelling, when anyone is angry, that they're actually seeing tigers, and that they are just like those babies who cannot recollect. And we have a lot of research on this. There's no part of that brain firing the reward center. There's no part of the brain that's not firing the amygdala that just says you're in trouble. And then we spray trouble all over, don't we? And that's just a part of our mechanism that we do not want to condemn because it has also got us all here, hasn't it? It's been necessary at one time, but our development is now changing and we're growing. And so now we want to get away from just peekaboo to even when we don't see the good, can we begin to recollect it? Even when we have difficulty, can we remember that there's infinite beings and others and elements supporting us? And the answer is sometimes, right? Sometimes. And according to Brother Richie Davidson, and all those amazing others, the answer is yes, you can, and we can grow it, which we're going to be doing in these 100 days. Is there anything about the 100 days? Is that we're all dropping things? I don't know if anybody can hear all that. We've got lots of stuff on the floor, and Diana can't really pick it up because I can't go into that. So I just smile at everyone. Now officially cracked my phone. Our guests want to take me to Verizon because they're worried I'm going to cut my hand. Look at the care in that. That lovely care in that. Our friend Ken said twice to me yesterday, why don't you just drive over? Maybe they'll just take you because I'm afraid you're going to cut your hand on that screen. Right? And can I both have the broken screen, see the slight inconvenience? There's no doubt about it, right? It's not convenient now. I'm going to have to take time, and it's not the time I would want to take. I'm not a device. I don't like them, though I love using them. Can I recognize that there's care in this genuine wish for me not to be harmed as well? So these are the ideas we're going to go over. Painting of Tinkerbell. I don't think we can see that. Dennis, maybe you can share that with us. And see if we can all see the beautiful Tinkerbell. I'm going to look here. Let's see if we can't look at this together for a few moments. So I can't see it still, but maybe. Brother David's key teaching. It is not happiness that makes us grateful. It is gratefulness that makes us happy. We have science that supports us in this. I'm only going to go over a little, but I think it's important because we frequently like to blame people who are complaining, let's say, for just being sourpusses. Like you're just negative. You're just saying, and actually it's not accurate. That brain is trained. That's not random. or accidental. And it is likely trained by that mother, that father, that family, that culture, that era of depression. Let me use that as in my mother's example, who has infinite rolls of toilet paper, paper towels, plastic bags, things that she stores and to some extent hoards because of an experience that said you are not going to have enough. And that's a reality that is not an idea. You might not eat, and so you better keep these extra things. And so we want to be careful. I think I can have a tendency, I know certainly earlier in my life, to discount that. And it was a reality. It was a reality. I just didn't have to live in it quite like that, right? And so then can't we all be diminishing, be critical, be condemning, be judgmental of ourselves and others when in fact it is merely an experience that has been then replayed over and over and over. And if you think you see a tiger enough, then the stripes alone will make you fearful. And it's maybe not the stripes on a tiger, maybe it's the stripes on the pillow, and yet you're activated. And can we appreciate that with some kind of understanding first, and then maybe compassion? Oh, you're activated in a way that doesn't make sense to me because I can't see what's in your brain, but I can understand by the very activation that you're actually not okay. Could we start there? You're actually not okay. And then our gratitude practices with all the goodness all around us, can we gather it in some way? Not just out there, but now in here to be a contributor to the end of suffering for that person. Yes, the answer is yes, we can with training. What would it mean? Well, it would mean that we at least say or acknowledge the suffering, wouldn't it? That by itself would be the beginning of the end of the suffering. Just the acknowledgement. I know this is hard. I know this is difficult, right? We could say to Dennis, as long as you have loved and had a cat for 20 years, it doesn't mean you will not also be in suffering and grief around that. And could we acknowledge that compassionately with empathy? And the answer is, of course, we can, because all of us now at this age and stage understand what losing something is. And we also understand it in a physical way, not just the idea about it. We can feel the truth of that grief and then be the beginning of a good neighbor by saying, I know it is hard and it will take time and it's not easy and there may never be another cat just like Tinkerbell. And we get to honor the loss of that. And that's going to be our work over these 100 days. The research on gratitude, I like this one. This landmark was a long and also longitudinal study. I think it continues now at UC Davis. Participants who simply wrote 3 to 5 things they were grateful for each day reported a 10 to 25% increase in overall well-being and optimism. That was one of the original studies. Now remember, I said 10 to 40%. Does anybody have any idea why we have grown that percentage? Because we've added some things. But this was just writing it down. And that was called a gratitude journal at that time. People do it today. It's still wise. The Huberman Lab talks about it often. But we added some things. Does anybody remember what we added? We didn't just write it down. What else did we do?
The felt sense.
Felt sense in the body. How long did we do it for? What's the agreement? Some amount of time.
15 to 30 seconds.
15 to 30 seconds. I went back and looked at Rick Hansen's work. He landed right on 20 That was just a piece of his research, but we do know from others like Richie Davidson that it was as little as 15. I like the always like if we're training, why not lift the extra 2 reps uh, to guarantee that we get muscle from that. We're adding that, and that addition, that one addition, which is to pause, focus on the positive event, and breathe it in, feeling it in the body. Exactly right, everyone. Thank you so much for that 15 to 30 seconds. And I get goosebumps when I remember this. Will raise your overall happiness both in that moment and then in collective moments. We have both sides for uh, 10 to 40%. Why? It just completely changed your mind. And it changed your mind not only for the thoughts within it, it actually, and this is the part about this research we all love, it changes the structure of the brain. It changes the processes of the brain. It's firing differently than it was just those 15 seconds before. Isn't this big news? Like, what medicine could you take? What medicine could you take that could have that kind of impact in that amount of seconds? You already all know the answer. There is none. There is no medicine greater than the capacity of your own mind to change the mind for the better. This is good news. Is somebody on wanting to say something? We knew that these people exercised, slept better, had fewer physical complaints. By the way, when we've done extended research, these were done in the 90s and early 2000s. It wasn't that it didn't hurt. It just that the focus wasn't there. And so consequently reported less pain because they weren't gripped around the pain. Of course, when we in pain management, we do this very same work, don't we? We go, yes, there is the reality of burning, tingling, tightness, pressure, right? We try to label it like that. But can we also move just outside of the body enough to find a place in that body where it doesn't feel like burning, tingling, tightness, pressure? Well, not so far away, frequently. We go, oh, I'm okay here. And then, well, oh, I'm okay here. And then I'm okay. And then expanded awareness. I am also okay. And so we know the impact of this. This is the training we're undertaking for this number of weeks. After 10 weeks, participants reported higher life satisfaction, stronger relationships. Also, by the way, it extended then to things like work. It extended to things like pro-social behavior. I was willing to initiate behavior with others. I didn't stay withdrawn or isolated. I was willing to engage in unfamiliar activity in behalf of a greater whole. Well, I wasn't before. I was just in the corner going, I don't think so, guys. All the positives and all the things we need in this world, don't we? All the things we actually need in this world right now. We need that pro-social behavior. We have to care about who we're bombing and who we're killing and the impact to them as well. And by the way, I'm hearing this very consistently. I think it's probably one of the first times where people have said to me, I'm just worried about the Iranians. What are they doing? Because we can know what it would be like for us as well. And now they're no longer just strangers from a foreign land. We're starting to coalesce in this world in a way that has not always been true. And it isn't just by culture that they're different, or they have babies, they have children, they have, and we're starting, um, I think, in a way that has not always been true. I guess we're growing up, maybe. Gratitude works because it shifts attention from what we see as deficient or lacking or not enough, both in ourselves and in our capacities and in our lives. It relates to all those views, right? To one of sufficiency. The Emmons study um, said abundance. I don't think it has to be. I don't think it has to be more than. I think it just has to be enough. I'm not sure abundance is required for gratitude. I actually don't think so at all. Do you? I think it's just enough. I'm okay. And Rick Hanson's studies uh, in the I'm all right now said that anyone who could say that also in the research showed elevated dopamine, um, prosocial, uh, serotonin, and other things. Just I'm all right now. Not everything's going great. It's all going my way. I'm on top of the. That's a whole other thing. And why would you suppose? Why is that phrase, I'm all right now? And we're going to maybe offer that to ourselves along with our 15 to 30 seconds. I'm all right now. Why would we suppose that that's sufficient?
For me, because I love my Rick Hansen,
Yeah,
it's if I can say I'm all right now, that means I am in the moment,
yeah.
internally, externally.
You're really right there. You've already checked in. You already went body, okay. The room, okay. Out there, no hurricane. A dog resting, okay. Friends, peaceful, right? We've already arrived here fully and done a little open inquiry. Remember, inquiry is key to assessments. How is it not only here, but here? And then we go, I'm all right now. This is good. I'm good. Now, what our tendency is, remember, in the negativity bias is to go, oh, stomach ache, my ears burning, and get locked up. And the Buddha named this 2,600 years ago. He says, every time we shrink the mind, the heart shrinks also. Every time we wrap up around the not quite, nah, didn't go my way, how come this? And we're doing it mostly every minute because that's called immediate appraisal, liking, not liking, happening every. This is good. This is not good. This is too cold. This is too hot. This is, and as we are doing that, if we don't stay in larger view, we just shrink around. That guy's in front of me and he's too tall. We're going to, what says the Buddha? Suffer. Now, by the way, I'm at the Chicago Symphony. How is this possible? Well, because I've lost the moment, Jean just said, shrunk it into just this. And now the only thing I can focus on, I can't hear the sound. I can't hear that beautiful flute. I can't see Yo Yo Ma. I can't. The only thing I'm gripped on is the tiger. That's the guy in front of me. And we're doing it all the time. Gratitude is a natural expanding of the view. Can everybody see that? Natural expanding. I'm all right now, both internal, external, and
I
other.
have a question, Diana.
Yes,
The 15 to 30 plus seconds, would
yes,
that even be, as Jean says, or Rick Hansen, I'm all right now, like literally pausing after that thought, 15, 30 seconds, focusing on that, and then moving to whatever the next, wow, I'm in a beautiful place, and it's like you said, it's not a hurricane, like every single one of those pausing.
yes, yes. So we
Okay.
do know that, Marie, this is exactly right. It's consistent with the Montessori method, by the way, of teaching as well, which is if you just see it, it counts. If you see it, hold it, and say it, it counts more. If you see it, hold it, say it, and feel it, you're guaranteeing a good file cabinet full of rich experiences. And that it's all right now is one of the frames that we can put that 15 to 30 seconds in to hold it in the cabinet called our own memory, and not filing in the amygdala, which only remembers the difficulty, to go, life is good, things are okay. Even when they're difficult, they can work out. Right, we have all of that working for us. So I would like us to add something in language because we just know it works. And I'm all right now would be the minimum, wouldn't it? We'd reflect on that. Things are good. It could be, hey,
I
not
could see going through my whole day like that, just saying I'm all right now.
yes, you could. And That would be a very good day, wouldn't it? That for the most of the day, you could go through the day saying, I'm all right now. And probably, uh, mostly, it's true. And interestingly, when it's not true, it will have very little to do with the day. Here's the truth: it will have something to do with that mind that shrunk in that moment to the raisin and went, no, it's hard. I don't like it. And by the way, it doesn't mean we can't acknowledge difficulty, but we can't shrink wrap the mind around it, because then the negativity bias wins and we go into a stress reaction that none of us wants. Why? It costs us. It costs us what? We get ill. We age more quickly. Our bodies don't hold, right? All the things we already know. And we don't need that. So I'm all right now would be a beautiful song to sing for the whole of the day, even when that tall guy sat in front of you at the Yo-Yo Ma concert. But just keep in mind mind's auto tendencies, right? And the minute that happens, we're now heading down a neural pathway and then a neurochemical that causes our distress. And then the Buddha said, can we see the good in this? Can we see the good even in this? Along with this, I was hoping to be able to actually see, but I'm in an amazing place, in an amazing room, being able to listen to an amazing musician as well. The brain learns gratitude. It is not just something you have or you don't. Our Western culture has confused this for, well, 5, 8 generations now, which is, well, if you're grateful, it's because you have a lot. That's our culture. You've got everything. That's why you're grateful. No, it has absolutely nothing to do with the condition, says the Buddha. It has to do with the quality of mind that you're bringing to it. We have completely misunderstood this. And so then what? The minute we don't have something, we go right into paucity. We go right into insufficiency. We go right into not enoughness. We go right and then suffer and become ill, distressed, and all the things we do. So we're not going to mistake gratitude for having things go our way or because we have everything, because we've all had Amazon for a while. You can get that thing in hours. Anybody notice gratitude's higher? Not so much. Not so much. Or a little, because, well, now I got it. But that's not, remember, the definition of gratitude according to the Buddha. It doesn't have to do with the circumstances. That's appreciation. Gratitude is the clear seeing of intentioned acts of kindness and care, and then recognizing those beings. And we're going to practice on some invisible ones this week, right? We get the difference. Appreciation. Wow. Now we might feel grateful for the Amazon driver who went, hey, I'm not going to leave that up there. It's too heavy. I'm bringing it all the way down and knocking on your door to make sure that you got that, would be gratitude. And those differences are important, distinct, and they don't feel the same, says the Buddha, in the mind body. They don't feel quite the same. There's a different felt sense. We're not going to work on that yet, but we're going to get there so that we can start going, oh, that's different. Gratitude and resilience, we of course know that one leads to the other, reduces depression, inflammatory illnesses, and stress markers. The vagal tone is, of course, significantly improved and increased. Parasympathetic is more regulated and available. The pro-social bonds we talked about. And I love this term. It's one that they've started to use maybe in the last 5, 8 years. Emotional immune system. It strengthens your emotional immune system. You might even say what the word I typically use is psychological flexibility. You're more adaptive, right? Well, the more adaptive you are, the more you are going to be a contributor to solving problems, working out difficulties, working with others, right? And seeing others as resource rather than resource drainers, as an actual resource, and using them skillfully, wisely, right? And then, so the Buddha says this. I've already repeated these a little. These two persons are difficult to find in the world. The other translation by Bhikkhu Bodhi that I prefer is are rare. These two persons are rare in the world. Which two? One who is first to do a kindness, and one who is grateful and thankful for a kindness done. We have reviewed this as not just giver receiver, limited understanding of exchange, but that it is occurring in fact then all the time, because someone is always they're always there, says Mr. Rogers. The people with kindness, the helpers, are always there to look for them on purpose, and then to be grateful for them. Now, sometimes we look for them, we find them, and we feel relief. Interestingly, not the same chemical, not the same part of the brain as gratitude. Can you feel the difference? Oh, I'm going to be all right is the relief. Oh, we're all going to be all right because there's you and me in this continuing exchange. And the Buddha talks a lot about that, doesn't he? The exchange of self for other, that there is no just helper, helpee. And in relief, you are only in the helpee. Can everybody get this idea? You're lost in the helpee. You don't even know that, because now I'm okay too. We can be better. We can now, it's not just whew, that I didn't get blown up. It's wait a minute, now together, greater resource, greater supports, greater evidence for goodness, and greater possibilities. And it's all true. And then in another Angatara, it says, a person of integrity is grateful and thankful. This gratitude, this thankfulness is advocated by the wise. And what the wise understand, so we undertake. Another one, even this is the one I wanted to focus on today. Even if one were to carry one's mother on one shoulder and one's father on the other shoulder for 100 years, still we would not repay the debt to one's parents. And we struggle. We talked about this on Saturday. And I have used the parents very specifically, haven't I? Both in the meditation on Saturday and now in today, because without them, you cannot awaken. There was no possibility for that without those parents. Doesn't mean they were perfect. It doesn't mean they did it right. They had their own suffering, their own confusion, their own limitations. But without them, we would not be accorded this rare gift as well of this precious human life in which to what? Love. Let's just put it that simply. In which to love. And so you would not know that without them. Whatever else is true. And then there's just a reminder that we talked about it on Saturday. I'm going to go past better than 1,000. We've heard these. Better than 1,000 meaningless words is one word that brings peace. Yes, we already know the complete truth of that. Or we could say no word that brings peace, but being peace. And we know the truth of this, that it is not simply in its language, it's not sufficient. It is in its beingness. And we practice this as well. And then, of course, Brother David, it is not happiness that makes us grateful. And then we're going to stop now because we're going to practice, but then we will start to just review slowly these other higher developmental paths to gratitude, but we're not going to start now. This is week 1. I just listed them. I think I put them in our, boy, I meant to put them in the email just so you could start to think about them. A list of other gratitude practices, recognizing the invisible web, gratitude even in the face of difficulty. If somebody would check, I'm not sure if I sent it. I meant to, but that doesn't always mean anything.
I got that. Yes.
Okay, it looked like this, Renee. It was the note I just sent. Okay, and then I didn't include the practice.
It's at the bottom.
Great, great. All right. Any questions before we practice?
Diana, would you
Yes.
just say one more time the difference between appreciation and gratitude? I feel like that's fairly nuanced.
Yes, it is actually. And Jean, just for our practice too, I'm going to ask the community if they can give you their ideas about that. And yes, of course, I'm happy to, but I want to make sure we're all understanding. So what is it, folks? What do you understand as the difference between appreciation and gratitude? Just come on and say what you know.
Appreciation might be like a physical gift, and gratitude might be just the giving of the gift.
Yes, recognizing the goodness of the giver in this moment, right? Even though we don't lock up those ideas. Yes, might be a material thing we could be appreciative for. Uh, the elements, nature, right? We often feel interconnection and belonging in relationship to this physical world, our own bodies. And their effectiveness or their well-being. We could feel a lot of appreciation for that. But why is that not gratitude according to the Buddha? It shows us how complex the topic, because from the Buddhist point of view and the research, amazing how it comes right along. The neuroscience says there's a whole different part of the brain, a whole different set of pro-social chemicals that get released when we recognize the intentional acts of care and kindness by beings. A whole different pro-social positivity, I'm going to use the word for now, from recognizing the intentioned kindness and care of other sentient beings. It's a whole different felt sense than, wow, this is beautiful, which, by the way, doesn't make it any less beautiful. Wow, what a pretty day. But it doesn't have the pro-social development that, in fact, is going to keep our world alive. Get the difference, Marie?
Yes, I'm also hearing that it's the relational aspect.
Very
It's
much.
not just not just, oh, yes, it's beautiful and I'm having a great breakfast.
That's right.
It's
Great key,
the
right?
okay,
That's
other
right.
humans involved.
That's right. Must be pro-social. Relational is another beautiful word. It doesn't make that quiche any less fabulous either, except we can't count on that in a time of difficulty, can we?
No.
You cannot. You can count on that pro-social capacity where I'm now looking for help, says Mr. Rogers, looking for others who can support me and vice versa. I can support whole different and has a much stronger internal capacity to grow something in us so that we become pro-social. So all the beautiful sunsets in all the world do not necessarily make us better people. Well, don't we know?
I
Don't we
think I've been confusing appreciation a lot with gratitude.
Most of us have, Marie. Now, by the way, that you recognize and have appreciation is still wonderful. It's just a lower developmental level, is what it says. It doesn't really hold us up. That sunset and that beauty and its memory is not necessarily going to hold us up like it is to remember that other person had a difficulty. People were there. They were there for me. I was there for them. Uh, because separation can still occur in circumstantial good. Can't we? You can go, you got the nice house in Rancho. That doesn't help me. I mean, good for you. You had a great breakfast. That's good for you. Maybe not so great for me. And it doesn't support us in the way. Can we feel that difference?
Oh,
And by the way, it's felt differently. It's different sets of chemicals, and it has a very different result. The other result in this other kind of gratitude is I'm going to be that because I see its benefit and its value. And remember, with all the good quiche in all the world, with all the most delicious chocolate cake, the only thing that might come out of that is lucky me. Can you feel the meanness? Yeah, you can. That comes new car, yippee. And you know what most people do with that? Well, good for you. Yippee-oh for you. And remember, sympathetic or empathetic joy is actually built from a pro-social place, not just because you got a new car. It says, no, I know you better. I know you're also kind. I know you're also a helper. I know you're also assisting and Phil, right? I know I can count on you in difficult times. And so I'm happy for your happy, but not before,
no.
not before that. Now it's just a competition. And again, our culture is solidly confused about these issues. So, all right, we're going to get ready to practice.
Preciousness of this life now.
Dennis, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you completely.
The preciousness of this life now.
Right. That's right. And the preciousness of this life now with others who are going to support me in it and who I am going to support in it. Because then, again, just the thing insufficient. There's not enough cake, is there? There's not enough. And alone, there's not enough sunset. Doesn't mean they're not beautiful. And we forget. We forget that. Okay, so let's get ready to practice. Finding a comfortable posture. And gratitude practices, we don't work maybe quite as hard at the architecture of the body as we might in a concentration practice, where we really want still a lot of stillness. But we do want support, a felt sense, right? That I don't have to work so hard. So you might get an extra pillow there. You might make sure the arms are not too heavy or hanging. These kinds of things would be a lovely act of care. But we can then also, as we're preparing, as we're dropping into this precious moment, we can also feel the workability, let's say, of the temperature. Not so hot, not so cold. I'm all right now. Versus a little chill, which might be the other side of that mind. I'm all right now. And then we could feel the weight of the body as it rests and is actually invited to rest. And with each out breath, just settling in a little bit more, arriving this present moment, just like this. And then we can feel as the body eases, we're moving out of learning mode, by the way, in the mind. It's a different mode. We're moving into feeling, knowing. We are safest most well, most whole, most easeful here. Nothing to do except soaking in the goodness, both within and all around. Letting the body relax is an invitation to the mind. I'm all right right now. Recognizing the effortlessness of the breath being offered to you. Feel all the ways you're being supported in this life right now. A breathable air, sufficient lungs, body that works more than it doesn't work. Not just things that are pleasant to you, but things that are actually supporting your aliveness. I'm looking out the window and I see all these beautiful trees and plants generating oxygen so that I have enough to breathe in. Perhaps this house that protects and shelters us, this Zoom that allows us to connect. These are all of the things for which we can feel a deep appreciation. And as you're recollecting them, keep dropping into the body, if you would, to feel the effect of this appreciation. Where do you notice the reality of this in the body? A warm cup of tea or coffee, a blanket, or comfy shoes. I have a little extra padding under my seat, makes sitting very comfortable. I can feel the appreciation. There is a certain ease, maybe even a certain joy, a comfort, a sense of well being. Feeling the effects. And then I'd like you to expand this. It would be understood in this way. It will light up more of the prefrontal cortex and invite other neurochemicals, by the way. We're going to see if we can feel the difference here. You're going to call to mind a being, someone who contributed one of those things to your happiness, your ease, your well being. And so, this very Afghan that I have was a gift. And I'm now recollecting that person who cared for me and wanted my well being enough to take the time, the money, the energy to offer this to me. And I'm breathing that in, remembering this sentient being. See if you can continue to also drop into the body, feeling the effects. And immediately, I'm a little surprised. I got immediately warmer. In fact, I'd say I have a little bit, like a little warm um, around the whole body, not just in the body, but around the body. And it's very interesting. Likely a little expansion of that vasovagal system. And I'm just enjoying that warmth, recollecting this loving other, caring other. And then maybe another. Now I'm thinking a little bit about the person who built this house, who I actually don't know, and the care and the commitment and the wish for another's safety. Even though that person didn't know us. Feeling the effects there, the invisible others, calling them to mind, including the person who made this Afghan. The persons who contributed to making the medicine that I've needed to take in my healing. Can I recollect their goodness, their commitment to others and to me? Maybe you're eating a part of a meal that was prepared by another, calling them to mind. A coffee pot that was turned on by somebody else. Clothing that was made by others. Furniture, flooring. Half these plants in the yard were planted by someone else. And breathing that in, feeling the effects of this truth of the beauty, the vastness of this web of life, this interconnectedness. And then we can begin to feel the gifts offered to us by others in almost everything. From the bed I was laying in, to the blankets I was warm beneath, to the clothing I put on, to the floor I stepped on, laid by somebody else. And it isn't in the things. That's the appreciation. We're recollecting those beings who contributed those things with intention. Noticing the breath that's being breathed. Infinite causes and conditions contributing to our well-being, our happiness. The farmers, the grocers, the clothes makers. I'm looking at a bell that was hand tooled somewhere in Tibet. All these beings contributing to my ease. Allowing that gratitude to then arise naturally. And feeling how it appears in the body. There could be a quiet sense of ease or fullness, a sense of enoughness. Let the whole nervous system enjoy and absorb this experience. And then we could call to mind someone who we very deeply know, someone who has offered their kindness, their care to us in a way that's very clear, very distinct, very important. Could be a parent, a teacher, a friend. And then allowing the heart mind to remember and to recognize the gift of their presence in your life. Feel the effects of that care. Very direct, somewhat immediate felt sense. Breathe that into every cell, every pore, fully immersing oneself in the knowing of that care, that goodness. And then we can silently, or maybe not so silently, express gratitude. We can simply say thank you. I love you. For their offering. And continue to feel the effects of this gratitude. Let it spread throughout the whole body. And then for a moment, we're just going to acknowledge and recognize the countless beings who have supported you in this precious human life. There'd be no way to recollect them individually. They're uncountable, infinite, ongoing, happening right now. May this goodness we recognize in others, may we share that with all beings. And it looks like simple things like friendliness, like direct contact. We look in others' eyes, and we smile. We're close. We stay close when needed. May this gratitude give rise to dana paramita, to this generosity that we extend to others as ourselves and has been extended to us. And there is a link, we know, to the understanding of gratitude to the acts of generosity. To the extent that you know how all those others, infinite others, have contributed to your well being, so you too then are generous in offering to them. And from that very generosity, we also know that there's a natural rising up of compassion and empathy. We begin to see ourselves in each other. And act in behalf of not only ourselves, but in behalf of them. May we all see this clearly. May we all be a mirror for this goodness. May we all remember I'm all right now. And feel appreciation and gratitude for that. May this practice of gratitude, of appreciation, of acknowledgement, may it grow and continue. And never diminish. So be it. So I just want to take a moment before we end to look at the week one reflections. And it looks like I had those included. What did I notice about my mind when I began looking for things to be grateful for each day? Did the mind resist? Did it search? Did it become more attentive to small moments of goodness? Did it go back into the past in recollection? How did it go? You're going to be reflecting on that this week. What was the quality of mind? Did the attention get sharper? Did the memory get better? Did everything get fuzzy? Well, just noticing something about that. See if you can do that without judgment. Which gratitude came most easily this week for you? Was it connection to people, the body, nature? daily comforts or something that was surprising. You didn't even expect it. And then there it was. Where was it easy? It's good to know where we have some training already in us for this truth, this Dharma. How did holding gratitude in the body for 15 to 30 seconds change the experience? And then we're going to add accordingly, how does making a statement about that, including something as simple as I'm all right now, or this is good, or I see the impact of all these beings on the goodness of my life. How does that impact you? And we're going to really pay attention to the body. How does gratitude show up in your own body? And again, for me, there's very clearly a warmth that occurs, a sort of chest warming and feels expanding. There's also a softening. I feel more ease in the face and in the body, a little more weightedness there. So, how does it impact you? And then we're going to pay attention beginning today with how does this practice impact my day? I want you to really look for this. Is it a little easier to see goodness? Is it a little easier to feel the gratitude now that we're sort of dusting it off, uncovering it? Is my own gratitude, the impact of that, become a mirror for others so that they too can be more expressive? And it is true. If someone says thank you to you, you're more likely to say thank you. That's the pro-social reality. If you're pointing toward the good, there's a much greater chance that someone else is going to point towards it as well. This is the good news about our interconnectedness. And what quiet supports? The ones that we take for granted really every day. What do we tend to overlook in the way of these supports? What's happening that we have a tendency just to expect or assume or forget is still a gift? It's friendships, community, well-being, general health, not being in constant pain. And we're going to see if we can't make that more visible this week. They're calling these things up as well. The things we tend to see as expectations or invisible. I do this with the breath every day. Every day I drop in on the breath like it's always going to be there. And then I remember this precious breath, this moment. And I have to remind myself. Right? And then how do I use that breath as my second inquiry towards the good today? So we get this idea. Those are the reflections. And I think I had one other thing I wanted us to work on. Remember, I asked you to come up with something, not only that 15 to 30 second holding, breathing in of something for which we feel gratitude, which was, remember, an intentioned act of care or kindness, an intentioned act of care or kindness, not just appreciation, but gratitude. I want you to find a phrase in the morning that sets the mind towards gratitude. And I recited a phrase from the Jewish tradition: who is rich? One who knows what they have. As an example, just the reminder of that. But you could find any phrase that wakes you up to the reality. That side of the brain is called up with intention. And what are you saying to wake up to gratitude every day? Then I've asked that you continue the journaling. You're going to be finding those three things, breathing them for 15 to 30 seconds, recollecting, remembering, contemplating them, and then writing them down. You're writing those down. And then we're reviewing them in the evening. Okay, anything else? Brother David has his own special practices. I know for sure day 2 was recollecting the things we love, which was a lovely thing to call to mind. I journaled with that. I don't know what day 3 and 4 are because I haven't seen those yet. I'm hoping you guys were able to see them. I would try to stay in journaling as well with that as best you can. I think that'll be useful for us. And then we have these recollections. If anybody notices they didn't get the email, I believe you should have. You should have gotten it. Okay. So far, so good? Yeah, I think so. I think so too. 10 to 40% happier. I think it's true. I can feel it already. I hope that you can as well. Before we go, are there any other announcements? Jim, I don't know if Jim Sinclair is still here, but I'm assuming he has the help he needs for Wednesday's drive to San Diego Food Bank. I'll assume it's good for him. Everything else okay? Let's look. I'll look and check quickly. Siobhan says, I've always experienced the difference between appreciation and gratitude, that appreciation is like conversation light or small talk, and gratitude is like that deeper conversation that moves you. Nothing wrong with conversation light either. That's exactly right. In fact, sometimes we can start there in a way that feels like shallow water, right, as we're entering into and immersing ourselves in that a larger reality of gratitude. Also, the real truth is, we didn't speak to this today, and I'm not going to take time now, but gratitude is riskier business, isn't it? Appreciation, you don't need the sunset, or you don't think you do, to be alive. And you start to realize, I need those others. And then sometimes we forget that those others need me too. And the minute we get that one-sided, we get in trouble also, because then we can feel deficient, or I don't know, not giving enough or not something. And when we remember that that exchange is ongoing always, even when it looks like it's otherwise, it's never true. It just doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a being who doesn't need another being. No. You need them, they need you. This is the way it really works. And sometimes we get mixed up because of a thing or a circumstance or something. But gratitude is risky, because once I acknowledge that I need you too, you have more value, and you also have more potential for harm, don't you? Because, well, then you can take you, and then I would not be as okay. And so just know that that light and that Siobhan is talking about is actually accurate, because the reality of interconnectedness is real, and interconnectedness to others' good intentions is essential. And we forget, and when we remember, we get scared. Whoa. And what if they don't want to? And what if they don't like me? And what if they decide to blow us up too? And right? And then we go, oh. And that is also the reality of our interconnectedness. And it must be considered. It's how we're going to not kill each other, I'd like to think, because we know without them, we can't be okay. And without their okayness, right, everything is more dangerous, as is being felt now. As is being felt right now. All right, everyone, thank you so much. Let's say our Bodhisattva prayer. Let's remember that we have retreat coming up. We are on encinitasmindfulness.com now. So for those who can't find the website, it is there. You're just going to the old one. And all of this is up there. We're also starting Friday's mindfulness self-compassion course, 5-week course with Denise, who I think would like to extend the time. I'm hoping she gets to do that with the group. It'll be up to the group, but it's going to start at 8 in the morning on Fridays, this Friday. So Denise Funfar at gmail.com. I'm going to put that in chat just so we all know. If you're interested, and it's by donation, and that donation comes right back to us, which is truly a gift from Denise to us. Thank you. So recollecting, letting that gratitude continue to inform, impact us. You might call that moment or moments to mind, those beings to mind. Resting in the heart of gratitude. And then offering, as it says, we will be more generous. And then the Bodhisattva prayer. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance, gratitude, and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. May we all be happy. May we all be safe. May we all be well. May we all be grateful. And may there be peace. So be it. Thank you all. Truly, thank you. May we continue to recognize the blessings of others and all that contributes to that this day. If you're feeling like you're getting confused about our practices, please let me know. I can try to help straighten that out for you pretty quickly, but mostly the capturing these moments of felt sense of gratitude and then recollecting them and holding them, breathing them, letting them nourish and nurture us. Very, very important. And by the way, so says the science, everything gets better. Everything. Once we open the eyes and the heart like this. So thank you all so much. Good to see you all. I'll see you guys on Thursday at Philabelly. I think we're making chili.
No, I'm gonna make manwiches instead.
Libby's making manwiches instead. So Lynn, if you can't get somebody else to help, let us know by tomorrow, would you? And then we'll just pick up one of those items.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. Be well, everyone.